Simmers, we can breathe. I just heard a collective sigh around the globe because for this season, for this quarter, the new content has stopped. We've received, I'm fairly sure, everything that we're gonna receive until at least June, when we get a new quarterly teaser and probably a new season, so we can start all this over again. But to tide me over, to keep me going on, you know, my guessing game, because I am truly an English student at heart, we're gonna dive in deep to the assets that we've received recently, all throughout the last quarter, and what they could mean for the future of The Sims 4. Are some of these containing hints to what the next packs could be? And I know people want the game fixed. I also want the game fixed. This is just a load of fun. I just like reading too deeply into things. This isn't me saying I would prefer new content over bug fixes, because that's never the case. Of course, we're starting off with probably the biggest one, the one you expected. All of these items, which is so many items, kind of relate to what we are going to talk about. The biggest one that I have heard you lot talk about is this saxophone right here. It's the King Cool's framed sax. I will say the actual description doesn't do much. Reminds you of those failed dreams and passions that you lost, with the silver lining of adding some sultry jazz vibes to your decor. A very, very interesting description that I saw was on Practice Makes Perfect, which is already giving the energy of like musician. She's also called Priscilla, but this was a bonus item that came with the pre-order or the early purchase of Businesses and Hobbies. Add grace to your space with Priscilla, the ultimate rock star. I don't know why I did Shaka instead of this. Dedication and patience. Well, I've been patient for the last 11 years, you know? I've been, yes, yelling about a bands pack, but I have been patient whilst waiting for it. I do think a bands pack is coming in November. I've already spoken about why that is. They gave Creator Network people a calendar that had a bands picture of it in November. A true rock solid trendsetter, available in classic or rebellious inked versions. I mean, if that doesn't scream bands pack, I don't know what does. Now, a lot of these do relate to jazz. Obviously, we did get Cannonball, who wants to own a jazz club, so a lot of you might be thinking this is just to do with like the jazz bar, which, by the way, hilarious that they gave us a saxophone encased in a case and we don't even have saxophones yet, but I would love a bands pack. You all know, I've already made videos about it. I'll link the video like up there and also in the description about my perfect bands pack, which probably I could add way more on nowadays. I will, if we are getting it in November, be doing a wish list, of course, but nothing says jazz like a stylish bar except for maybe ordering a drink at said bar, enjoying it with a cool cat, listening to the smooth solo together. I would love it if Sims could do solos in this new bands pack. There ain't no better way for your words to reach ears. Obviously, bring it to your lips and let your pipes work. But Businesses and Hobbies isn't the only one that kind of brings about this idea of like a musical pack. This is Raw's Oh, this is from Businesses and Hobbies. Not gonna lie, I did think this was from the bathroom kit. My bad. Work those pipes, fill the tub, and enjoy yourself. But down here, there are some other ones from other like kits. We have the Echoes of Elegance. Lose yourself in the moody melodies of your favorite music. That is obviously from one of the kits that we received. Sorry, I do not know the items. From Lil Simsy's kit, we got this little camera. It can take you from Sims to Stranger to Sims to Famous, which technically I guess could be like modeling fashion. And there was like a shelf from the bathroom kit that talked about like posing or like strutting or something like that. but I do feel like this is more talking about like celebrity in terms of music. Obviously, the latest kit that we just received, the kitchen clutter, we had this fridge that has like a keyboard on it. It's got a little microphone and a guitar. It also looks like this could be like a stadium tour. I would like to see it. This also looks like it could potentially be a city, which I feel like if they're gonna give us a bands one, they probably will give us a new city, because we haven't had like a really built up city pretty much since San Myshuno, let's be honest. Although I would like other worlds and other geographical areas to be represented more than another city. Keeps water in without stealing the spotlight. Who's it going to be stealing from? Our bands? It's like a VIP lounge. Rock stars need VIP lounges. An ache as I grasp your expectations high. The weight of your dreams grow towards the sky. Whilst I do think a lot of these are to do with music, I have mentioned dreams in the past as like a theme. I don't know how they would tie like dreams into an expansion. I haven't really spoken about this since Horse Ranch, because Horse Ranch had an awful lot of like stars, dreams, and I was like, are we getting astrology? Which I really do feel like astrology could have come in Lovestruck and was definitely a missed opportunity in my opinion. But these items also mention dreams. Have you always dreamed about showing your books whilst hiding your mess? While wandering an artisan fair, you stumble across this dream drifter. Embodies creativity and ambition, ready to carry your budding business ventures across a vibrant urban landscape. And then more recently in the workshop kit, we had the Astrolux fridge with a history as vast as the Milky Way. Don't worry, we'll be getting into that one. This fridge brings celestial coolness to your cuisine, perfect for those who dream of dining among the stars. So again, could be relating to fame, could be relating to aliens, but also dreams? I don't know. Are they trying to come up with something to control your Sims dreams? I'm fairly sure we already have that in Sims Get Famous, right? Doesn't that little like alien bulb where you can sleep, doesn't that have something to do with being able to control your Sims dreams? Bouncing on over here though, traveling across the Milky Way, there are a lot of alien themed. Now, I don't really ever think we're gonna get like updated, I mean, I wouldn't mind updated aliens. I don't think it's gonna happen because I think they've kind of given up on like the refreshes. I would like to see it. I don't think we're really gonna get another alien pack unless it's maybe something to do with time travel. Again, another theme that I've already spoken about. These kind of just had aliens on them, but that is not surprising considering Lil Simsy's kit was kind of all about nostalgia and gaming, and obviously aliens have very much played a pivotal role in the Sims franchise. All of the repairable objects are part of this Astrolux range. Now, I always say it could just be the theming of like what they've decided to go with, and hence why they have like a running theme throughout all of these items, but I do just still find it interesting the words that they use. Your ticket to a universe of flavors, salvaged by a visionary junkyard. We don't have junkyards. I mean, that would have been great to add in businesses and hobbies, let's be real, with what? Updated woodworking and also metalwork. Returned from its intergalactic junkwood journey, mistook it for a spaceship part. There's also chat about like mystery. Mystery is used quite a bit. Maximum concealment with just a hint of mystery. Tranquil escapes, which speaking of tranquil escapes, there was quite a reference to like gardening and like peaceful areas and tranquility, but also very much whimsy. And you know what whimsy always gives me? It gives me fairies. Charming plant offers a subtle twist, ideal for Sims who love a little whimsy. Then you have the swing set, which is also described as like whimsy of childhood by prioritizing neutral. Anything in nature really does give fairy. I mean, fairy soiree lights, adding whimsy to any space. Another set of like fairy lights, light drops, add some magic to your place. I do find it interesting that they had so many fairy lights, but maybe that's just a very easy reference to make between fairies. We do have a little Leaf, the My Sim character. One, not only is he playing what looks to be an electric guitar, but there's also a little unicorn next to him. And whenever I think of unicorns, obviously we do already have them in The Sims 4, but they're not actually like magic or part of a fairy pack. But we also got this unicorn drawing Pegacorn. Are they called Pegacorns? I don't know. I'm just thinking of Pegasus. Also includes an alien. Also includes a little deserted island, which I have spoken about getting like stranded on deserted islands and like maybe having a castaway expansion pack. Again, haven't really spoken about that since Growing Together, but there was a lot of imagery in Growing Together that kind of was about being like stranded on a little island. Whimsical whirlwind of cookie crafting, whispering walls. I don't know why, but like whispering always gives me fairy as well, like whispering glen. Like I imagine lots of flowers and kind of like light hues and sunlight glinting through, and it gives me like fairy realm. Immerse your space in an aura of elegance with our whispering walls. Each frame exudes a hauntingly beautiful charm, perfect showcasing your most treasured memories. And we could go off in two different directions here. We can talk about, I'm going to talk about something very, very minor, but I did find it weird that they were talking about it. These like 4 items talk about the weather quite a lot. Wait out the passing storm on this random, which to be fair, I do frequently go to a cubicle to wait out a storm. A storm that occurs in my own body, I'm gonna be real, usually after coffee. So maybe they are just talking about your inner tummy turmoil. Durable and weather resistant. Why are they talking about the weather? The barely there shower. It's like you're showering in an invisible cloud. And then also this cloudy lump. Again, kind of has reference to aliens with like between a UFO and a very, very soft cloud until it decides to get back to its home planet. It's giving nope, honestly. I don't think we'll be getting like a weather update or like a seasons refresh, but you know, a girl can dream. Actually, I don't care. I don't care for a seasons refresh. Don't get me wrong, I would love seasons to be a better pack than what it is. Don't hate me, I don't particularly like seasons. The only thing I like about it are the holidays and also the fact that it adds dynamic weather to the game. Apart from that, it's a boring pack. I've spoken a lot recently about like timelessness, elegance, how that maybe could have been tied to a time travel pack, but now I'm thinking, were all the time travel hints that I was personally picking up on, were they all like hints towards Blast to the Past, which was obviously an event that we had, and maybe they were just like gearing up to hit us like in the nostalgia with that. A lot of this stuff does mention elegance, which always kind of ties me back to maybe a royalty expansion. Personally, is not for me. I mention it every time I talk about it. I don't really want a royalty expansion just because I don't really have any interest in having like a monarchy within my game. I liked medieval, but I liked it as its own like standalone thing. If it did bring pirates, okay, maybe I can be swayed. Luxurious comfort amidst the elegance of a bygone era, pedestal from the old times, showing off fancy decor items. You like jazz? Others like it jazzier. You ooze pizzazz, radiate elegance, and embody class. There were also a lot of thrones mentioned. Rule your living room, and then this toilet also mentions rule your bathroom, and those are actually from 2 different packs, which is quite intriguing. These again all kind of mention treasures, which is what I'm trying to tie into pirates. We obviously do get quite a lot of lore drops about Princess Cordelia and her pirate lover. I like to think they are gay pirates. I don't think that's lore accurate, but you know what? I will ship it. Perfect for giving your treasures the attention they deserve. Show off your treasures with endless possibilities. And then these kind of talk about like old things and history. Seems highlighting its history. The light inside may be new, but these lamps have been lighting the streets and houses since the city maybe for the new bands expansion. So is it old or is it new? It's the best of both worlds. Calm down, Hannah Montana. Okay, that makes me think that we're getting a music pack. The fact that that was a Hannah Montana reference more than any of these other items, I'm like, that is the one that I choose to believe. Was it the weapon of a warrior, a helmet, a salad spinner? Enthrall your guests with a story of your own. Kind of making your own history. I don't know. I do still think a royalty pack could potentially be on the cards. Have we seen it in a couple of surveys? I feel like we have, but correct me if I'm wrong. And then moving more onto the miscellaneous. This one is me being very, very loose with this. I guess you could say. Don't clip that and take it out of context. But these are obviously all rugs. So like, it's no surprise that they all kind of mention how they are made. Your living room with our new patterned rug made by our locally bred Nordic sheep wool, hand woven by the best weaver on the market. And the reason I brought these up is it felt like for a while we were gonna get, I don't know, maybe a stuff pack based on quilting and like weaving. They kind of mention like knit and stitch and textiles, and I know that we already have like knitting and cross stitching. I wouldn't be shocked if eventually we did get like sewing and were able to make quilts and blankets. I actually would really like to see that. It's not on my list of like most in-demand stuff, especially because I would prefer to have other hobbies ahead of those, because it already feels like knitting and cross-stitching kind of fills that a little bit for me. Watch everyone who sews be like, no, I would love sewing, and I do feel like it personally should have either come in maybe high school years or eco lifestyle, but I would have loved it if we could have like restored clothes with like patches and our clothes kind of wore down over time, even if it was only specific pieces like these, but then you could like patch them up and then they'd start to look older the more like you wore them. So I would like that element of, I guess, like sewing and like restoration in clothing, but I think it would be really cute to create a little blanket, especially now that we have heirlooms and being able to pass those down from generation to generation. These two were just part of like the Don Lothario kit that we got, which isn't surprising, so I'm not hedging my bets on any of this. I'm not saying that this is definitely coming, but they do both mention like the big game. This is obviously a sports jersey, so potentially sports being added. I can't really see that coming anytime soon as like a big specific pack dedicated towards sports. I know a lot of people want it. I personally would like it. I would also like athletic skills to be split up and kind of looked at. I don't think that's coming, but I did want to include them for those of you who might. Obviously, cars. Again, a couple of stuff from like the Bachelor kit, which has cars on it. We've got this Cars magazine. However, one of the most interesting things, which I thought would have nothing to do with cars. Cars, again, is something that has been mentioned so much recently when it comes to surveys. I feel like they've had the traveling van. They've also had the workshop kit. They've also had a lot of mention of like a Cars kit, and I personally would like to see it. I've always been not a Cars kit, a Cars game pack. I would love if Cars came as a game pack. I think we should have a couple of base game cars that you can just like drive and you can just like use, but I would love a game pack that comes with like a full on like work from home mechanic career, or maybe you go to work and work in a mechanic career. It's either like fixing up cars like a regular mechanic, or more so like doing up cars like Pimp My Ride, where you fully deck them out with all these like mods that make no sense. However, this culinary caddy says, just remember, it's not a race car, even if it handles corners like one. I am, in fact, in my F1 era. So sad that Hamilton isn't pulling through in Ferrari. I really want my boy to do this. That's suspicious to me. What do kitchens have to do with cars? Absolutely nothing, except maybe the kitchen is located next to the garage. Something that I spoke about absolutely ages ago on my channel was a like world map update. Like maybe they're giving a refresh to manage worlds, and this has a world map on it, and then this also has Oasis Springs. So maybe that potentially could be happening. Or maybe this is just trying to hint on like where it will be next. But it doesn't really give any hints. Like there's not really, unless maybe you take this as like an arrow, but that would be like kind of Iceland maybe? This is my own personal wish, but I don't know. I would love to see a comic book store and D&D, like more tabletop games. This is not happening, but I want to see it, so therefore I am including it. This is a little My Sim. Were they called Sky Heroes? Or am I thinking of something else? I never played that My Sims. And then this little comic. I also would love to be able to like draw comics and like publish our own comic books. And then also, speaking of My Sims, are these kind of little hints as to maybe what My Sims games are coming next? I know this is My Sims Racers. This is My Sims Agents. And then I'm not too sure what this one is, but Chaz McFreely is holding a guitar. It looks like it might be My Sims Party, which I don't know if that is real. I never played it. I know that I think you can play actually in The Sims, like as a multiplayer game. We're getting My Sims on Switch now, so I wouldn't be shocked if we got Agents and maybe Sky Heroes, if it's called Sky Heroes, as like another double pack, the same way we got the original My Sims. Really, really quickly, actually, there is this right here, which came in Little Simsies pack. I don't think this is hinting towards anything. I don't think they would physically tell us like dates that stuff was coming out, and there's like multiple dates, so I'm not claiming this to be anything, but I do find it interesting that I think the one that has the 13th on it is only the Freezer Bunny like school one. All the others kind of have like a different variant and then a different date on it. So don't think that this is the only one against the 28th, because it's absolutely not. But that being the Freezer School Bunny and November the 13th being a Thursday, which is usually when expansion packs are released, if we get a BAMS pack on November the 13th, just come back to this video and let me know, because that's my prediction. I'm locking it in. Just think it's a little suspicious. But again, all of these have different dates on it. I mean, I could pluck a random like 16th out of the year and be like, oh, this man does magic, so therefore we are getting fairies on that date. The lofty pipe reigns supreme, ideal for Sims who dream big and drain bigger. So maybe the dreams are just to do with like becoming famous. You don't know how to play jazz? Sure you do. Just hit some keys and see what happens. I actually don't, because unfortunately there's not different genres of music in this game that you can write, which I would like to see in what? You guessed it, a BAMS pack. But if you have businesses and hobbies, I mean, take a screenshot if you want and you can go through all of these. I just don't want to talk about every single description, or else this video would be so long. Ring of Fire, Johnny Cash, a very, very good song. I also don't want to go on about it too much, because I feel like I've mentioned a BAMS pack in like every pack hints video that I've done. It's just obviously with the jazz element of businesses and hobbies, I find it suspicious that they included and like focused on that so much. It makes sense for like Cannonball and his character wanting to own a jazz club, but the thing is, you can't technically even really play jazz or like have performers and like book performers and stuff like that, so it's not really a jazz bar, is it? Like, they have set it up so it does have some instruments and people can play piano, but we don't even have a saxophone, and that takes it away from jazz for me. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it's got your brain cells running wild. What do you think? Do you think there are any facts in any of these hints that I have found, or do you think they are all fiction and I'm making up every single one? Do you think I am jumping to conclusions or just jumping to what I would like to say, which isn't surprising. I do it every time. You know what? Those of you who want a royalty pack, I'll give it to you. I'll let you have it. It won't be for me, but I'm not gonna yuck your yum. I appreciate you all so much for tuning in. I always love recording these videos, as you know, not only because I get my wants and hopes and dreams across, but because all of you can absolutely spam the comments with maybe other items that you think relate to certain things, your wants, what you want to see within the game, and I love reading all of those, because how are they gonna know what we want in the game if we don't yell about it in the comment sections and over on Twitter and Blue Sky? They're not even on Blue Sky yet. Sims team, come on now. But I appreciate you all so much, and I will speak to you all in my next one. Bye now.